Once upon a time, the sun hung high in the sky, blazing like a ball of fire. The heat was unbearable, and the land below stretched endlessly, dry and cracked. The once green trees stood lifeless, their leaves drooping as if they too had given up hope. The rivers and ponds, which had once been full of fresh, cool water, had dried into mere patches of mud. High above, flapping his wings weakly, a crow named Coco struggled against the heat. His feathers shimmered darkly under the sun, and his bright eyes scanned the land below desperately. He was thirsty, more thirsty than he had ever been before. For hours, Coco had been searching for water. He had flown over hills, across villages, and past dense forests. But there was nothing, only dryness and dust. Every small puddle he had come across had long evaporated, and every stream he had known was reduced to cracked earth. His throat was parched, and he could feel himself growing weaker. "I must keep searching," Coco thought. "There has to be water somewhere." He flapped his wings harder, pushing himself forward. His energy was fading, and every flap felt heavier. But just as he was about to give up, something caught his eye. A tiny glimmer below, reflecting the harsh sunlight. Coco's heart leaped with hope. He swooped lower, his keen eyes focusing on the object. It was an old clay pitcher standing beside the remains of a house. The house itself was abandoned, with broken walls and a collapsed roof, but the pitcher stood tall and untouched. The crow landed next to the pitcher and hopped closer. His eyes widened with joy. There was water inside. His dry beak ached for relief as he hurried to drink. But as soon as he dipped his head inside, his joy turned into frustration. The water was there, but it was far too low. No matter how much he stretched his neck, his beak couldn't reach it. Coco tried tilting the pitcher with his claws, hoping the water would spill out. He pushed, flapped his wings against it, even pecked at the sides, but it was too heavy. The pitcher wouldn't budge. He stepped back, breathing heavily. "What do I do now?" he wondered. He was so close to the water, yet he couldn't drink it. But Coco was no ordinary crow. He was smart, and he wasn't ready to give up just yet. Coco took a deep breath, trying to calm himself. He knew that if he let frustration take over, he wouldn't be able to think clearly. There must be a way, he told himself. He looked around. The ground near the pitcher was scattered with small pebbles, some round and smooth, others jagged. He picked one up with his beak and turned it over, lost in thought. Then an idea struck him. His eyes brightened with excitement. "What if I drop the pebbles into the pitcher?" he thought. "Maybe it will raise the water level." It was a wild idea, but it was his only chance. Without wasting another moment, Coco picked up a pebble and dropped it into the pitcher. Plop! The pebble sank to the bottom, and the water moved slightly higher. Coco's heart raced. It was working. Eagerly, he picked up another pebble and dropped it in. Plop! The water rose again, just a little. Coco flapped his wings excitedly. "This might actually work," he cawed. Determined, he got to work. He picked up pebble after pebble, dropping them one by one into the pitcher. At first, the changes were small, barely noticeable. But he didn't stop. He kept going, flying back and forth, gathering more pebbles. Each time he dropped one in, the water climbed a tiny bit higher. It was slow progress, but Coco was patient. He knew that if he kept at it, he would eventually succeed. The sun continued to beat down on him, and his wings ached from the effort, but he refused to give up. His sharp mind had found a solution, and he was determined to see it through. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, Coco looked into the pitcher. The water had risen close to the top. His heart pounded with excitement. Just a few more pebbles, and he would finally be able to drink. Coco picked up the last pebble, feeling a mix of exhaustion and excitement. He dropped it in. Plop! The water was now high enough for him to reach. His beak dipped into the cool, refreshing water, and he took a long, satisfying sip. The water was the sweetest thing he had ever tasted, and it washed away all his exhaustion. He drank and drank, feeling his strength return with each gulp. When he had his fill, Coco stepped back, breathing deeply. He looked at the pitcher, then at the pebbles around him, and finally, at the clear sky above. He had done it. Not with force, not with luck, but with intelligence and patience. A proud smile spread across his beak. He had faced a challenge, thought carefully, and solved the problem. And because of that, he had survived. As he took to the skies again, he felt stronger than ever. He knew that life would bring many challenges, but now he also knew that with a clever mind, no problem was too big to solve. With one last look at the pitcher, he flapped his wings and soared into the sky, ready for whatever adventure lay ahead. Moral of the story: intelligence and patience can overcome any challenge. Where there is a will, there is always a way. I repeat, if you are interested to watch our video, please like and subscribe our YouTube channel.